In just a second, I'm going to be speaking with author Nicole Bart, and I am so excited because I love her so much. The last time I talked to her, we talked for so long, and I saw this book was out, and I was like, Nicole, please talk to me again. And she said yes, so I get to talk to her again. We're talking about this book right here, You Were Always Mine. I'm going to tell you a story about this book. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait because I want to tell her too. So, everyone, here is Nicole. Hi everyone, I am so excited because I am speaking with author Nicole Bart again because she has a brand new book called You Were Always Mine, and she has a copy of it. She's going to hold it up. Oh, God, Nicole. I have a story for you about this book though, okay? So I have it on my Kindle, right? Because that's what I do. I read it from my phone. And the other day, so I'm doing my life. I'm reading your book, but I'm doing my life, right? And I had to go to the grocery store. So I had your book on on my phone on that stand in my car, and I'm reading your book, right? And
Yeah.
the light like changed, and then and cars are honking, and I'm like,
Oh
what?
no,
What?
you're reading.
I'm finishing a chapter, guys. Can we just hold on for a second?
Calm down.
Then I go into the grocery store and I'm in line and the same thing happens. Like I'm
Uh,
so enthralled in your book that like the line, like they're waiting for me. Like the cashier's looking at me like, are you going to empty your car? I'm like, oh wow, hold on. Just I'm in another
I'm not
world.
hearing that. Thank you.
That's how much I was in this world. Like I didn't want to put it down. It was
Oh,
crazy. Ugh, your characters and I'm like, I'm so like Jess and I are best friends now. So
I hope so.
and then I was like, I wonder if Nicole and Jess are best friends. Like you had to write her, so she was your best friend, right?
Oh, totally. I loved writing her. She's the of all the characters that I've written, she's the one who's probably the most like me. So that
Mm.
was, yeah, that was an interesting thing to do. I've never put so much of myself in a character before.
Absolutely. I was thinking that for you. I was like, this must have, which is why I think I felt her heart so much. Because I think when you're writing more that it really hits something for you, it's like we can feel that as the reader. And,
Good.
like I don't know. I just, like I was thinking about some of her bad mom moments, and I'm not going to we don't do any spoilers here, but, but but we've all
Okay.
had those bad mom moments, right? And, like the
Yeah.
way the world is today, my oldest son is 31. Okay. So, but when he was little, like, and I was juggling and I was doing things, and I remember leaving. I don't even know how old he was, but I had to leave him to watch siblings because I had to go somewhere. And it was like one of those instant, like, I got to be somewhere. I'll be back in 15, like, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Like, like I won't be any
So,
time at all.
yeah.
But now in the world, it's like moms have to be careful. Like it is strict
Yeah.
rules. We kind of were given a little bit of grace because there weren't very many rules back then. But now, like people watch and people judge and I'm glad people weren't judging me because I was a single mom and I was doing the best I could, like she was.
So I think we all are. We're just doing the best we can. We have to have grace for one another.
Yeah. And there were times I wanted to tell her, like, no, Jess, just wait, just wait.
Yeah.
you know, you're being watched. Just hold on a second. I understand your urgency, but you got to take a breather. But I think that's why we connect with her because we sense her urgency. We're right there with her. We want to know too. It's not like I want to know what she's finding. And, so it was what an incredible story. What an
Oh,
incredible story.
thank you.
So I'm going to let you talk about it and tell as much as now that I've raved about it for 5 minutes. I'll let you
That's
talk
right.
about it.
Oh, sure. So my one line pitch is that this story is about Jessica Chamberlain. She's a newly single mother of two whose life is upended when her phone number is discovered scrawled on a piece of paper in a dead man's pocket. So I love telling people that because they give me this look like weird. This is a weird story, but I think it's so much more. It's a mystery. It's absolutely a mystery because, of course, she's trying to figure out how this number got in the pocket of this man and who this man is and how it connects to her. But I think it's a lot more than a mystery, too, because it's really a story about motherhood and what that means. There's a huge element of adoption in it. I'm an adoptive mother, and I wanted to talk about the adoptive experience from every angle. When we adopted our first son almost 12 years ago now, I don't think we really understood what it meant. We had a very naive understanding of bringing somebody else into our family. And I think that through the years, I've come to have a much more comprehensive understanding of what that means for the birth mother and the birth family and that child and the adoptive family and everybody around. So in writing this book, I really wanted to look at every perspective and honor every perspective. And I tried to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you did. And you did. And I want to talk about the beginning of the book, because the first chapter, I think it was prologue. I don't know if you called it your first chapter or not, but I kept going back to that chapter. I'm going to tell everybody the first line. Okay. He was in over his head. Okay. Well, as I'm reading this, and I'm reading that chapter, and then that chapter ends with, in some ways he had known all along. And I'm like, I kept rereading. I'm like, what am I missing? And then all of a sudden it all comes the middle of the book. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I kept thinking of questions. I'm like, I have to ask Nicole, I am missing something. I am missing. And then all of a sudden it becomes crystal clear. And I was like, she is brilliant. She's brilliant. she had me going for so long.
Right. That was the hope. You want to have a really good twist at the heart of a mystery. And
yes. Yeah, I love that. I love the way you went back and forth with it. And that's why it's it was so, this story is so intriguing. And so I don't even know how you wrote it, to put those pieces together the way you did, I now was talking to you. I have a habit of doing that. Nicole, what are you doing? I don't.
That one I read too. What motivated the author here?
I don't understand that chapter. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand. And then it was then you get to these points and you're like, oh my God, she's brilliant, because of course I don't understand, because I'm not brilliant. That's why.
No. Well, you just have to reverse engineer it.
Yes.
Once you've reverse engineered it, it's okay. Yeah.
Yes. But, after writing this book and so much about the adoption process and you having gone through it, I wanted to ask you, because I went through, so I have 6 children. After I had my 6th child, friend of a friend came up against someone who had a baby that they wanted. She was pregnant, but she was going to give it up for adoption. We went through the whole thing until the last second, and she changed her mind. Yeah. And the only regret, you can't have regrets, because you're of course she wants her baby. You can't, it's a very guilt, right? You're so psyched, but then you can't feel bad that they then want their baby. And then, so I don't know, I think it's more legal as you can get it too, so that they understand, so that everybody's on the same page. I don't know the answer, but I was you've been through it a couple times. So,
I think in the past, and I believe that this philosophy of adoption is changing, but in the past, people really wanted to say, you gave up your child, that child is mine now, and any connection that you have to him or her is over. And you can't sever that tie. You can't sever that maternal bond. It's there forever. And I think if you've had a biological baby, you know how strong that connection is. And just imagine how difficult it must be for both that child and the adoptive mother, the biological mother, to sever that. So I think that families, blended families like this, work best when everybody is involved and everybody, in so much as they are able to. I know that's not always the case, but we all love this kid. We all want what's best for this kid. And it's hard. We have to live in the tension of that. But when it works, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and we were in a situation, I already had 6 children, okay?
Yes.
There are people out there that don't have children, and then they go through all of that and then come to that end, which, is heartbreaking. But, it was heartbreaking, and I already had, I don't know, there's something so mothering about us, right?
Oh, yeah.
I want to mother everyone. I just...
Oh, my husband jokes I haven't met a kid that I don't love, and it's true. I love him.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay, just keep bringing. I won't even notice. I'll just set another place at the table.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, our house house has a revolving door. The neighbor kids, my nephews, anybody who stops by, they know that they can walk right in and I'll feed them. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this book, is this like the 7th book for you? Did I see that somewhere?
This is actually my 9th book.
Yeah. You know what? I was probably reading an old thing, like when it was your 7th book.
Yeah.
Wow. And okay, so yeah, you have 5 children. This is your 9th book. You're so young. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is incredible. I'm so happy for you. Are you putting them out like once a year at the moment?
It's slightly more than that, like maybe, I don't know, 16 months or something. And then I've had a couple of breaks in between there too. But I write in a 3-year overlap. So for 1 year, I conceptualize the book. I'm thinking about characters. I'm creating playlists. I'm just daydreaming. And then the 2nd year, I begin writing the book. It takes me about a year to write it. And the 3rd year, it's in publication. So going through the editorial process with my clubhouse and my agent and editor. But they all overlap. So while I'm conceptualizing one book, I'm writing another one, and the 3rd is in publication. So that's typically how it goes.
Yeah, which is like, so now you're doing, like this one's in publication, this one just came out. So that means you're already into your next book, like character, you're already thinking about it, right?
I'm already writing it, actually.
Oh, you're already writing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thirds. Okay. Thinking thirds.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I was like, didn't we just, when I saw this came out, I'm like, wait, I thought it was a book for next year. I'm like, didn't we just talk like about the other one? But I love the title. You Were Always Mine. I love that title.
I do too. It took us a while to land on it, but it feels very appropriate given the subject matter.
Oh, definitely. And I was looking at your cover today. Now, I've only seen it digitally, but I wanted you to hold it up because I wanted to ask you, some of the letters have different colors. Like, was that, like there's a yellow going through. Is that, what is that?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. I don't design the covers. My publishing house does. And Little Broken Things have the same thing. So they're going for cover recognition. The text or the font is the same.
Yes.
The size is the same. And I have a feeling my next one will probably look like this too.
But, and I do love that. I love when I can look at a book and it's the author. You're like, oh, that's Nicole's book. Like, I love that. I just thought I was missing some kind of like, that there's a, mystery to it.
No, there's no mystery. There should be. Maybe in the next one I should put a code.
Yeah, because sometimes there's like meaning behind, like they're like, oh, well, that color means this to me. So I'm like, oh, maybe that means something. But I love it. I love how it does that. And the picture is beautiful. I mean, that cover is just beautiful. And,
Love it.
Yeah.
My kids get a kick out of it because they're like, what is that? And it's a little boy. Reaching.
Yeah. Oh, it's so awesome. And the ending, and we don't do giveaways, but the ending is awesome. I love it. So anyway, thank you so much for like, I had like a day and a half of just pure joy reading this book.
Oh,
and
makes me so happy. Thank you.
And like I said, when I was like, I just have to tell Nicole like how much trouble I got into this day. Like everybody's hating me because I'm reading her book. I'm not winning any popularity contests here. So, but that's the kind of book. I mean, I love that the chapters are short. And even inside the chapters are, like, because you can just sit there for just a second and you can like read and it I think it makes it go fast, like it carries the story really quick,
I'm trying to do that because I think of how I read, and I read all the time. I love to read, but it's usually over lunch. It's right before bed. If I'm sitting in the carpool lane waiting to pick up my kids, I have a couple minutes there. And if there's a long chunk, I get lost and I have to start the section over again. So I like those digestible bits.
Absolutely. I think it fits into our life. I mean, I think that, like the real James Patterson thrillers were like that. They were always like very, very short chapters. But then, I've seen it more and more and I'm like, I really like this. It really does make everything flow. And it gives me that, little bit of time. Like I got 5 minutes. Okay. I can read a whole chapter. So I love that. I love that style. And I also just think that it makes the story, you're just so much more invested in it. Like it makes it move along quicker. And, so I love Jess. Thank you so much for, letting everybody love her.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait for your next one. So I guess it'll be next year, maybe 20. Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. Yeah. I turn it in early next spring, and it's slated for publication spring of 2020 or winter of 2020. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I can't wait. And I hope we talk again. So,
Thank you. Me too.
okay,
Yeah.
have a great day, Nicole. And oh, I want to tell everybody Nicole's giving away a copy on my Instagram tonight. The link will be listed below and you can win one of those. So, I am so excited that you're doing that. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, bye bye. Hi, everyone. Oh, isn't she so cute? I love her. I love her. And she is an amazing writer. I'm telling you, once you start this book, you are not going to want to put it down. It is that good. Her characters, and I love the main character, Jess, and she was hard to let go. I didn't want to leave her go. I was like, oh, I could just stay with her. I related to her on so many levels. So anyway, guys, like I said, Instagram link listed below. Go to my Instagram and you can win a copy of this book. I will be giving it away tonight. Thank you so much for talking with me again, Nicole. And if you enjoyed our video, please hit like. And if you want to watch my videos every day, please subscribe.